recording, hooked it up, and cleaned my screen to start with. Now, obviously, the first thing that we're going to start with this week is we are going to talk about the work that I did over the course of last week. And it was not a lot. You can see that I tried to do a little bit more of a glamorous face on Ichigo this time around. And you can see that that I did not do a terrible job of getting her finished over the course of not just a week, but an hour. You can see on the art timer that I screenshotted that I jumped in there and did all of this in an hour and a couple extra minutes, because the timer, for better or for worse, does not notify you when it is finished. I would like to fix that at some point over the course of the next week. So let's jump up here into the notes layer, and I will make some notes. The hair looks awful. In fact, just like all the shading looks awful. It's not very good. This hand is still fucked up. I tried to do more of a glamour face. I don't feel like I did a very good job. I tried to like thin out the neck and make it longer. Just kind of stylistic choices. I don't think I did terrible on the line art. I feel like the pose actually looks better, which, you know, it should, because I all but traced it off of a pair of reference images. And you can see here, if I turn off the flat color, you can see that I started and worked off of this this image of a girl in pants. But when you look at all the, where is my, oh, that's under comparison. When you look at the images that I started with, I kind of combined the two, I combined the arms between the two. So if I pull off this one right here, you can see that I just kind of whited out a whole lot of that particular pose and shuffled stuff around so that I could get the pose that I was looking for. So there's a little bit of photo bashing that went on there, and that's what created my my sketch and my line art. Now I put my flat color back, and that's also the layer that has all of my shading on it. I think I did okay here. I think I did okay here. I didn't even get to the boots. I ran out of time. But I stopped when the timer was done. And I don't feel like I did the greatest job of the whole thing. But I did it in an hour. This is an hour's work. If I can do this in an hour, then obviously I can do better in an hour if I work on it. So I need to work on that. I want to try and get my time down so I can do a complete piece during the stream, so I can actually like have something that gets done on stream, and then that will be a useful thing to keep around. Now, this is the only one out of the 10 Tatsugami I was supposed to draw. This is the only one I did. I never did get around to even starting Sora. I'm going to start Sora tonight. And I want to talk a little bit about why that is. So I'm going to grab this illustration and let's come down here and let's make this paper a little bit brighter. Bring it more of a, let's make it more of a cool gray. Somewhere in here. Oh, let's see. There we go. So let's start with a cool gray, and we'll come up here to our line art. We're still down here on black. Okay, so your brain is like a little room, okay? And inside of this room, you have a couple of things. One of the things that you have is a desk, okay? You got this desk, and on that desk, place all of your various stuff that you learn. And initially, it's just like little notes that get kind of tossed on the desk. And then when you have a bunch of notes about the same thing, you make a little folder. And the little notes go into the folder. And when you run out of space on your desk, when all of the stuff on your desk has been put into folders and stacked up, and it's all just like piled up, and you've got bunches and bunches of stuff, and you've got a new thing you need to put on your desk, but you don't have room for it, what your brain does is it'll take that folder and it'll throw it on the floor. It'll take a folder that you haven't used in a while, something that you haven't touched, something that you haven't looked at. And it just like throws folders on the floor, and it continues throwing the folders on the floor every time you run out of space on your desk. And every time it does that, it just sort of makes a little note and goes, yeah, I threw 3 folders on the floor. Now, every 6 to 7 years, you go through this process called neural pruning. Now, neural pruning is kind of a complex topic, but we're just going to go into the basic idea, which is your brain reorganizes stuff. So it takes all of the stuff that's on your desk and all of the stuff that's on your floor, and it binds them into books. So instead of a folder that stuff could fall out of and get lost from, you have all of these books. And over here on the side of the room, you have a bookshelf. And that bookshelf is where all of the books that are on your desk get put. So at these 6 to 7 year points, your brain jumps in and goes, hey, let's get rid of some of this crap that is in the way, and we'll put it up here on these bookshelves. So it'll take all of these, it'll take all of your books, and it'll go, okay, we're going to put this book up here. And it kind of organizes stuff, and it tries to put stuff into some kind of reasonable semblance of order, okay? And it stacks up all of your books. Now, what you've also got over here in the corner is you've got a bin. And as you might guess, that bin is where the books you haven't used in a long time get thrown. Now, all of these books that get stacked off on the side from the floor, all of the stuff on your desk has now been bound into books. And it's been moved up onto shelves. Now, if your brain runs out of room on the shelves, it does the same thing it did with your desk. It takes the books that it doesn't have room for, the old ones that you haven't been using, and it throws them on the floor. And they're just haphazardly on the floor. The stuff that got tossed out off of your desk, that gets organized in nice little stacks on the floor. So you got all this stuff over here that's just kind of organized. Now, every 6 to 7 years, you go through neural pruning, but every other round of this, every 12 to 14 years, you have what we call axon terminal neural pruning. And axon terminal neural pruning is when 3 major things happen, okay? The first one is all of the books that are on the floor, they get thrown in the bin, okay? Whether they're stacked up on the corner or they're just thrown haphazardly because they got chucked off the shelf. So all of those books get tossed in the bin. You can still get to them. You don't lose them. They're just harder to find in there. It's a mess. You got to dig through everything, and it's tough to find the stuff. Okay? So that's all. So this is all stuff, because we're talking about the books that are on the floor. Now, if you ever needed one of these books that was on the floor over the last 6 to 7 years, it would have gotten picked up and put on your desk. Same thing with these other books on the floor. If you need one of the books on the floor, it gets picked up and put on your desk. Just like if you need something that's on the shelf, it gets taken down and put on your desk. And when you're done with the book that's on your desk, if there's a place for it on the shelf, it goes back into place on the shelf. That's nice and organized. So between the shelf and your desk, this is all the stuff that you're actually working with. And all that stuff on the floor can get moved onto your desk if you need it, okay? And at the end of that 12 to 14 years, all the books on the floor that get thrown into the bin, by definition, are books you have not touched in 6 or 7 years. So they're old. Your brain goes, okay, we haven't used this in 6 or 7 years. We could throw it in the bin. So it gets thrown in the bin. This is all old shit, okay? Then all the stuff on your desk gets bound into books. All of the folders and notes on the floor get bound into books and stacked off in the corner. That goes where that goes. This goes where this goes. All of the stuff that you just bound on your desk gets put over here onto the shelf, and you got more books on your shelf, okay? And this is your fluid intelligence as opposed to your crystallized intelligence, all right? But axon terminal neural pruning also involves another thing, and that thing is that your brain looks at this little note that says, here's how much shit we threw on the floor off of the desk. Looks at that little tally, and it goes, we need a bigger desk. So it orders a bigger desk. And you get a bigger desk, and you can fit more stuff on your desk, and now you don't throw as much stuff on the floor over the course of the next 6 to 7 years. The same thing goes on with the shelves. Everything that got thrown on the floor from the shelves, there's a tally over here that goes, we threw a bunch of books on the floor. Your brain goes, well, that's not okay. And it orders more shelves. And what it tries to do is it tries to make enough room for you to continue learning at the same pace. All right? Now, here's where the problem comes in. As you get older, chances are very good you'll hit one or more periods where you do not learn a whole bunch of stuff during that 12 to 14 year period. You're working in your job. You already know your job. You're nice and settled in your career. You're not listening to new music or watching new movies or reading new books. You're too busy doing the same thing over and over and basically just being a boring piece of shit. It happens to all of us. It really does. And at the end of that 12 to 14 year period, or actually at the end of the 6 to 7 year period, your brain looks at what you're doing and it goes, okay, if you're at the end of the first 6 to 7 year period on the way to axon terminal neural pruning, and you haven't filled half of your space with stuff that you learned, your brain is going to start going, hey, go learn some shit. Well, as luck would have it, I started my little art journey when I was about 49. That would have been in one of these 6 to 7 year periods. It would have been right at the end of one of those. It would have been right at the end of the 7th 7 year period. And now I'm pretty far through that. I'm like 5 years into that. And I'm closing up on the end of this 12 to 14 year period. And this is where we're hitting another thing, which is because I have been working so hard on art, my brain has been filling up with shit that I have learned. And it's starting to go, we don't have room for this. We're going to forget stuff. We're going to lose things. We're going to have to throw books off the shelf. Your brain doesn't like to do that. Your brain doesn't like to throw stuff off the desk. It doesn't like to throw stuff off the shelf. So when it thinks you're going to have to throw stuff off the shelf, it starts to go, whoa, whoa, slow down. Stop learning so much shit. And because of that, over the course of the past week, I just didn't want to do, over the course of the past 2 weeks, really, I just plain didn't want to learn new shit. I didn't want to push forward with this difficult and aggressive process of a whole lot of practice. Because my brain was sitting there, and I at this point, I got to the line art stage of drawing Ichigo. And my brain just went, no, we're not going to do this. And I just kind of sat there in dread of doing the line art for days until I finally kind of figured out. I was just kind of walking through it going, what could this be? And this is the best thing that I can figure out, is that I'm about to get to this stage right here in the next couple of years, and I've packed so much stuff onto my desk and tossed so much shit onto the floor that my brain's looking at all of the stuff on my desk and it's going, yeah, you're gonna fill up the shelves. It's too much shit. Stop learning stuff. There's no room for it. Well, what I need to do is I need to push harder. I need to make my brain throw stuff on the floor. I need to make it throw a bunch of folders on the floor. And I need to go back and I need to start revisiting stuff that I don't want to lose. I need to revisit like old skills that I go, okay, this is important. I don't want to lose this. So I got to spend more time playing music. I got to spend more time writing code. I got to spend more time doing the stuff that I haven't been doing lately so that I keep these things and don't throw them on the floor and lose them. Doesn't matter so much that I don't do a lot of marketing, I guess, but I should probably revisit some of that because marketing is going to be important once the games are actually together. Then again, I could still dig through the bin. That may be really, really important later on, so I probably need to put some time into that. I'll read some books on it or something. I got a couple of years yet. But that's kind of the situation that I want. I want to force my brain to go, well, you know, you may be like in your late 50s, but fuck it, we need to build more shelves and we need to get a bigger desk. And that's something that I want. I want that to go on. And on top of that, one of the things that you want to be really careful with at my age is, God damn it, that's damn chair creeping down there. But one of the things you really want to watch out for at my age is you want to make sure you watch your exercise, because we know for a fact how to stave off dementia. We absolutely know. And what we know is it's blood flow in the brain. You need to get your heart pumping. You need to get your cardio in. You need to exercise. You need to work. You need to make sure that you keep that blood flow going. Because if you start laying back and relaxing and not doing much of anything, and you just let the blood flow calm down, and you keep your heart rate real low all the time, your brain stops working properly because your brain needs blood flow to function. It's absolutely necessary. So that's another important thing. Well, it's important at my age. Not necessarily important at yours unless you are also my age, in your 50s. But anyway, that's the thing that's going on. That is the thing that has been going on with me not wanting to get shit done. And now that I know that that's what's going on, I can sit here and go, okay, I'm not afraid that I won't learn anything. I'm not worried that I won't be able to do it. It's the exact opposite. My brain is worried that I will learn to do it, that I will improve, that I will progress. It's trying to put the brakes on this and go, no, stop that. We're going to run out of space. We're not going to run out of space. I got plenty of shit I can forget, and it wouldn't make a fucking difference. So, and it's that way for everybody, okay? Your brain gets paranoid about shit because, and this is particularly true of neurodivergent people, your brain often has trouble prioritizing, okay? And because your brain has trouble prioritizing, especially if you're neurodivergent, especially if you're ADD, ADHD, autistic, any of that stuff, your brain does not understand what is important and what is not. It just knows what you're using and what you're not. It does not grasp that that one weekend that you had to rebuild the server and you cranked up Marilyn Manson really loud. That's not an important memory. You can lose that memory. You can throw that out. It doesn't fucking matter. But how to perform basic first aid, even if you haven't used it in a long time, you probably want to keep that around. You know, there's a lot of stuff that is very useful and that you want to keep around, and your brain doesn't know it's useful. It doesn't know that it's important unless you use it. And by use it, I don't mean necessarily go and help somebody and perform first aid, but just think about it and spend some time looking it over. The whole continuing education thing really does work as an adult. But anyway, this messy piece of shit sketch, and this is the way that I typically use to sketch when I am not directed toward actually doing something. Yeah, that's kind of how your brain works. And And I'm going to move on from that, and we're going to talk about Sora. And first things first, we are going to pull up the comparison here. This is all I ever did on Sora, and I moved the palette into my raster layers. So there's the palette of all of the colors we're using with Sora, and I never got past the flat color stage with her. If I take the sketch and the construction layers, oh, I have to take them off. The comparison. That is the farthest I ever got with Sora. And I just didn't do any work all week. So this time around, I'm going to actually put some effort into it. And I went and I grabbed myself a little bit of reference. And Sora, as you can probably tell, is supposed to be kind of ripped. She's supposed to be strong and buff. She is the inner power Pantsugami. And because of that, I went and I looked to some muscle chicks. Like this is Lean Beef Patty. And the issue here, let me just kind of, okay, think. Well, that's not working well at all. But if you scroll in here, you can see that Patty has got some really ripped abs. That is a bit much. That is a bit more than I want. But right here, that arm, I like that arm. I really like that arm. I really want that arm and hand pose right there. I really want that. I think that'll look really good. So, so what we're looking for is something a little bit less buffed out. And I got another image over here. But this is a little bit much for Sora. I like the definition in here. This looks really good. But I think this is, once again, too much for Sora. And you can see this chick. She is major renal. She is dried out. This is somebody that's getting ready for competition right here. This is somebody about to go do her bodybuilding competition season. And that looks great. There's another thing that's important here that I'll go over in a minute. But what I'm really looking at is something more like this. I'm looking for this kind of smooth and flat look. And mostly what I'm looking for here, this reference is primarily for that top, for that sports bra. And in particular, this bit right here, where it's off of the skin, I'm really looking at that, and you can see right here, we get that little shadow up underneath of that. And I'm really kind of looking for that kind of thing on Sora, because that's the kind of girl that she is. That's the kind of top that she's wearing. And that's the way I want that to look. I want that kind of cut. I want that boom going on there. But we're going to give her this kind of more relaxed, feminine sort of pose, a little bit more glamorous. We're going to do that, but this body is going to be substantially more buffed out than this girl right here. Okay, and right here we want to have Patty's. Check this shit out. Pose. So we want to have that kind of look at this, that powerful pose, and we still want the that swoop. We want that pop in the skirt. don't have that kind of thing going on. We want this sort of look. But she's going to have this sports bra kind of look going on up here. And she'll have her belly hanging out. And of course, she's going to have a slightly different hairstyle, slightly different face, all that sort of thing. And one thing in particular that I wanted to point out here is you see a lot of people that are drawing breasts, and they do this thing. That's not how it worked. That's not how breasts work. If you look here, if you look real careful, what you got is you've got the pectoral muscle right here, and the breast emerges from underneath of it there. The breast comes out from underneath of that, and on top of this, it is rolled over. So the breast rolls over top of this, and this is more the shape that it follows here. It's like right here, it's coming around here, and then as it gets up to the top, okay, that top is rolled over from the side. So it doesn't just kind of extrude from under there. It comes out right here, and then it's rolled over. So you've got the back of the breast here and the front of the breast here. People do that wrong all the time. And if we bring this out here, if we bring out this girl again, you can see the same thing. You can see right here, you can see here is that pectoral muscle, and here is that breast up underneath of it. There's right there. This is what we call the axilla, that muscle right there. And up from underneath the axilla, there comes the latissimus dorsi. And here is the breast. The breast is coming around like this. So that's the breast tissue flopped around, and the skin overlays this, okay? That skin is coming down like a nice flat curtain and sheet, but the way the skin comes out, you kind of have this little V that goes on right here. You got your collarbones here, and those collarbones form a very deep V that comes down, and that's where the skin wraps around the breast tissue, which is emerging from underneath of the pectoral muscle over here. And that pectoral muscle is lying over top of the axillary process of the breast, but it's underneath of the breast tissue. And it's still in the exact same place it would be on a man. There's no difference. It's the same pectoral muscle you would have on a male body. You just got this breast tissue underlying it, and this piece of shit chair that keeps sinking. But that was an important thing I wanted to go over. And of course you can kind of see this on Patty too. You can see here's the pectoral muscle, here's the axilla, axillary process that comes out and around, and you can see here's the collarbone, and here's that kind of deep V, and that skin comes straight down, and then it curves outward to go around the breast. And it's the same thing. And I'm not great at drawing this stuff, but I've spent a lot of time looking at it and looking at the anatomy of it to make sure I got it right. It feels like a lot of people aren't doing that. And you can see that I'm doing this on Sora over here. You can see that right here. We've got the breast proceeding from underneath the axillary process. You can see that right here. I've got that V going on. So that's important. And with that, I would like to come in here and just go, where's my timer? There's my timer right there. Okay, and let's put that on screen, put that up there. That's a good place for it. And you can't really see Sora's face, but that'll be fine. And what I'm going to start working on is I'm going to come down here to my sketch, to the reference sketch. In my reference, I want to, well, at this moment, I mostly want to look at Patty's arm pose. So we've got kind of, this is the combination that we're looking at here. We want to take this, we want to take this arm and we want to put it here. And we want to keep this arm where it is. And we want to do kind of a combo of this pose and this pose. Because you can see there's a lot of similarity to these two poses, okay? That torso just needs to be turned a little bit. If we turn that torso a little, then we still have more or less the same thing going on over here. But having the feet pointing that direction is probably not going to work out. So what we want to do is we want to go to our sketch layer right there, and we want to start the timer. We're going to start the sketch brush. Okay, so start a couple of guidelines. So there's kind of, we do not want that snapped. We don't want that there at all. Sketch, no. Copy actual sketch. All right, so here we've got the crotch. So we're going to have kind of this space. I have a leg that comes down about like this. But we want the foot to face in that direction. Right there. And we want that to down about there. Then over here, we're going to do the same thing. Pretty much. And that, sit about like that. And want these hips sit at an angle like so. We're going to swing this back. And we're going to put this arm. So on the hip, here's the edge of the skirt. It's going to come over and up. And we've got the waist, shoulder here. We're gonna drag that around. We never started the timer. I need to start the timer. Okay, so we're only like a couple of minutes behind here. And here we've got a breast. And here we've got a breast. Here's that deep V, and here's the shallow V of the collarbones, and here's the neck there. And we want this arm here. We want that to come down, over. We're going to have to get rid of, reference Sora, I think. Actually, that needs to be substantially shorter. It needs to come down and across and then out. You're going to have to move, I think. Here is, here's the head, and this is overly large. So we're gonna marquee, and we're gonna transform, and we're gonna pull this down a bit. Really, we don't want to do. We want to mark this part down. There we go. I think that is about what we're looking for right there. And start from that. We'll go for the hairstyle here. Okay, if that goes up a little guideline. Got this thing going on here. And yeah. She's got this sports bra thing going on. And she's got this belly button over here, and here's the skirt, and we've got black boots. Boots need to have some substantial heat, so that is about the kind of thing that we're looking at there. We're not going to see these legs, but we need to know where they are, so let's think about that. And now we can move on to construction. Just click that on along, and at this point we're just going to come over here to line. I think we want this nice and smooth. We don't want those. I want kind of a crooked smile there. This face seems a little small. Size it up and down. so, and then we're going to proceed with neck. Easiest collarbones there. Here's shoulder. We want the back good and substantial here. Higher kind of rib cage area. Substantial area there. Here's the front of the ribs, back of the ribs. There's the shoulder coming off. Come down here. Hands is going to come off that. And the fingers are going to come down off that. Like so. I think this needs to be this bit right here needs to be kind of, excuse me, make that out a bit. So give it a bit more attitude. Allow that. Yes, and that. And now we can raise that up a bit because we're still in early stage. Not be severe problem. Same kind of thing going here. We got the arm, upper arm here, elbow. We got forearm, and we've got long hand here. Got the little finger. Here. Little finger. This needs outward. Thumb in over here. See. Substantial prominence on that. Here's that belly swinging down, and I think we want to take the skirt's waistband down below. Take that up there. Here we have the leg, other leg, knee, here in calf, foot, drop that in there. Get that taken. Here's the over here. In this up. That the boot. It'll fit in there. That needs come down farther.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Not a whole lot. Just over here working. And then
Yeah, I'm playing Final Fantasy 14.
okay.
pretty fun, but have to be careful not to get too sucked into it.
Yeah, I have a timer running here, dude. Okay, so now we move on to the flat colors. Is a slightly larger brush, kind of rough in, just to look. We've moved on to flat color. Remember that on the timer. That's good. You know what? I want to take that higher up. Think about the shapes we're working with. Okay. And all right. Got that. Now we're going to grab the skin color to reduce the opacity of our sketching construction.
Honestly, I totally understand why you do not play MMOs.
Yeah, they are kind of a time sink.
Mm.
No. And on this hip, that's the wrong color. Got part of the composition in part of that blue contaminated the skin. Here.
Okay, fine.
Rough shape right there. We gotta get waist skirt. Rest of the skirt. And here's the interesting part, which is the stripes along the skirt.
If I get out of here. That done there. Now we've just got a boot. That come out
here, and then we'll have some skin show. Okay. Skin. Okay. And skin here. Neck. Face. Hair. Move on from this
There we go.
to our line. Okay.
Please. More. Oh, get some more coffee.
Okay, so we got that in, and wait. I'll have to line art. So, all right, move up here, and we'll go next on the line art. So we're only at 17 minutes so far, which means we've got some overflow time to work on this line art. So,
Oh.
let's try and keep the internal line thinner and finer. And the external lines that define the silhouette.
Wait, didn't you stop streaming like an hour ago or something?
Do what?
Streaming, like,
I've been streaming for about an hour, yeah, but I have a timer running up there for the piece that I'm working on right now.
oh, I see.
that in here. How to get like this is not going to be all that detailed, but that together. And I am using way too large. I have to clean a bunch of stuff up. I can tell already. I think I need to do that with the black colors off. Finish this first. These are going to be some big, chunky. That's too chunky. All right, we can at this point turn off the construction of the sketch. And a little more detail in here. And room for that. There's a smile off of smirk. Should be see a little bit of the other. This is not looking very good at all. I'm not happy with it. But that is the kind of thing that our polish phase is for. Take a look at what we got here. We've got the meaningful silhouette. We've got all of the space, I think. Point. Here. Not be doing the whites of dye. Vector art layer. Black color layer. have that peek out right there. That bit of look right. Again, do not do the whites of the vector. Iris in there. And now we'll color. Fill in some faces. All right, so I think that does our line art. Over here. Look again. All right, so start going through and clean up now that we have the stuff. Sure everything in the lines it needs to be in and fills the lines it needs to fill. Okay. Clear out all of this garbage. All right, so we are getting close to the point when we can start shading. The 1 hour works are still very clearly rushed jobs, but I expect them to improve over time. I think this hand is big. I will worry about that some other time. I don't think I need line art on this so much. What I need is to clean it up a bit. Do the shading. If you do the shading on it right, then the line art should be unnecessary. That particular bit. I'm doing a job on. I am doing a job.
Mm.
All right, so got a boots place and clear that up. More cleanup around here. Civic. There. There. That little bit. Color. That color is really a misnomer. It's a color layer. Because I'm going to be doing my shading on it too. So that was there, there. And okay, so let's see what we have at this point, and not bad. I do not have her, have her glove. I wanted to do a glove on. Grab that, let's grab that skin color, and we want to go a little more saturated and a little bit darker, and we want to go a little bit closer to red. That should be our shading color. Here, here, and this, a lot of shading underneath there. A lot of shade here, here. Up here, we want shade that. Here, shadow there. Shadow underneath here. Highlight here. Here. Running that. Over here, we want purple, and we go purple, a little darker, a little more saturated. Into that. Contour. In. Darker still. Here. Back. Line. Chin. Up here. Here. Take the hair color. That side. Okay. Farther down. This color for stripes. And kind of extend that a little further as we go farther down. We'll meld that somewhat with the purple. Purple. That's very bold. Shadowing there. there. Because the purple is a much darker color, the shadow extends farther. So it'll look less crappy once I actually shade it, which I hope I will have time to do. $18 minutes left. Need more shadow. Shadow here. Here. There. Here, that's come all the way there. Here. All the way through there. Okay. And I need okay. I'll just shade. Okay, and now we want to do, I'll do the highlight on an add layer. Start with that and we'll go to a, this is very rough, but go to blend, blur, the right thing. Let's go to and bigger. Blending going on here. White, so harsh. Let's take a look at that. That's not bad. Okay, so very nearly, and I. Oh, let me go back to my brush and I grab my. Get those abs rough. Then we'll go back to our blender. Down a bit. Now let's go to our highlights and let's do some. Let's do some very sort of bright. Yeah, that's something. Happy. Not really providing what I want. Yeah, I'm not happy with that at all. I don't feel like it came out that much better than the original bit, honestly. And I've got 7 minutes left on the timer, but I don't feel like it's going to improve at this point. I feel like this is probably as good as it's getting, so. I don't know. It's not terrible. I mean, you back up from it, it's okay. Yes. I mean, again, not awful. Let's save off a PNG. And take a look at our time lapse and see how that looks. This looks reasonable so far. I don't know. It's sloppy. That's the real issue. Is just sloppy. Which I guess is I guess that's more or less what you get if you try to do stuff fast. It's either I mean, it's gonna be sloppy until you improve beyond the point that it's sloppy, because I'm trying to keep things from being too trying to keep things from taking too long. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave that. There's a bunch of stuff I'm not happy about with it, but esse qua messe. It is what it is. We'll go ahead and stop the timer here. I'm going to finish the timer. I'm going to grab a screenshot. I'm going to paste it into Harrison. Hello. Why is it not letting me paste it in? There we go. There's that. Pull that down. We'll apply the transformation. And we'll turn off the palette in there. Now, let's scoot this over. Let's grab both the vector and the raster and layer. Scoot them over like so. All right. That works. I'll save that in Clip Studio format. Yep. Place the Clip Studio format. And there we go. I redrew Sora. It says, this is not making me happy. It's not as good as I want it to be, but it is getting done in less than an hour. So that is driving in the direction that I want to go. I just need to improve my ability to get there cleanly. And doesn't help that I had my brush way too large through the line art stage, but it is what it is, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Thanks for being here again. God damn shitty chair. Thanks again for being here, and do a little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all of that horse shit, and okay, bye.